Hello everyone and welcome back to Z-Man, Zombies, Movies, and More. Very proud to bring to you this first look at the mid-season 8 premiere for The Walking Dead. The episode's called Honor, and this is a spoiler-full review, so if you have not seen the episode yet, please make sure to go watch it, and then come back out and watch our review to see if you agree, and leave your comments below. But so here we go. So I'm giving you a chance to get away. So here we go. This is the end of Carl Grimes. As we know, he was bitten last ending of the season, and while trying to save Sadiq. And so this is a pretty beautiful episode, giving a great send-off to Chandler Riggs, Carl Grimes. Really, it was just a kind of a roller coaster of emotion, which I want to note, I really hate commercial breaks. It really totally breaks the mood of everything that's going on in the episode. But luckily, we recorded it, so we were able to skip through most of it. But the send-offs were pretty great for Carl. Some of the characters felt a little bit off. I mean, it seemed like Rosita, she didn't barely say a word, especially at least to Carl on the way out. Also Tara, with her awkwardness as always. I cannot stand her so much. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, she was just kind of awkward as she always is, and she kind of goes off into the distance. It was kind of cool seeing Daryl's send off to him. It's Daryl's style, just kind of giving him that few words and then that wink, and Carl kind of nods his head. So that was kind of cool to see. But basically emotional, yes, this was. I mean, my wife and I think we were both trying to hold back and not wipe the eyes as we were going through this, because I couldn't help by watching Carl, and I think this hits everybody in a different way. It depends if you have maybe kids, but I imagine my own son in that spot and the things that Rick would be going through, watching his son slowly die right in front of him. It's a lot to bear. And so it was, like I said, extremely emotional. I did feel that the send-off, I mean, it was well done by Greg Nicotero, the director, but I did feel it was a bit long. There was some other things that was kind of tying us up throughout the episode, which we'll talk about in a minute, which was Morgan and Carol, and they're trying to save King Ezekiel. But I will say they did it pretty well. And like I said, every time I try to imagine my own son in his spot, I was just like, wow, I don't know if I can handle this. It's just really, really sad. And I think towards the very, very end of it, when Carl was finally given his final send-offs and telling his dad, you need to end this war for me. You need to look to something better. I think that was really just started hitting. I think Michonne's performance was also very, very good. Obviously, she's got to be the cornerstone for Rick to try and help him through this whole thing. And just, of course, just seeing Rick and his decimation. I thought it was really interesting the way Carl went out. I kept thinking through it, okay, is Rick going to do this? I mean, could I kill my own son right there and live with it? But then again, could I let somebody else kill him, and not feel resentment for that person for doing it? But it's Carl himself who offers to take his own life since he still can, and he has the availability to do so. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was neat. A lot of the beginning of the episode really talked about, or showed, Carl just kind of in this Zen, space, just kind of really peaceful. It's a beautiful scene where he looks up to the sky and he lets the warmth hit his face pretty much the last time he'd see the sun up. And it was very neat. And then there was all these visions he was having, which we've been seeing all throughout season 8, and we were wondering what were these all about? Is this the future or whatever? Well, it seems that this was Carl's possible imagination of the future, or some could argue maybe hallucinations, maybe the fever taking over, which that could be. It would make sense. But at least it's what Carl felt could be a great possibility and future for Alexandria, his dad, Michonne, and everybody else. Even coming together with, he had a couple guest appearances in there, but you had Negan at the last scene, picking tomatoes, I think it was. And I think in the comics, for those who maybe don't keep up, the comics, I believe Negan has become part of the crew, which that's going to be a very, very hard thing to do. I do believe that these writers really need to start stepping up their game. I know that Scott Gimple has been promoted over the 2 shows. You have Fear, The Walking Dead, and also The Walking Dead. So he's running both of those, and now they've got a new main writer. And I'll see if I can get her name in the notes below. And so hopefully they can pull this back together, because right now I don't see there any possibility of them ever accepting Negan as a part of Alexandria or the Hilltop. Well, no more Alexandria, but maybe the Hilltop and the crew. And there's even rumors that Maggie might be leaving after season 8, which that's a huge change, but I mean, the one thing these guys are good at is adapting to the comics and making changes, subtle and sometimes even not subtle, not so subtle. But we'll see where they take it. So we also had some really cool action scenes between Morgan and Carol as they're running through the kingdom and trying to save King Ezekiel from the savior leader Gavin and about, I don't know, 12 to 15 saviors that are rummaging through getting the last set of supplies. So again, this was a really cool set of action sequences, stealth kills, Morgan pretty much at his best, Carol straight to action as well. These two are true badasses in this world and have found their place, that's for sure. Morgan, as we see as he gets through the episode, keeps questioning that humanity, that sense of moral compass. Does he have it? Is it even still there? And it seems it is. And he wants to be at peace, but he just cannot find it. He hates these people so much, the saviors. And so then you also see little Henry, which is the little brother of the kingdom young man who got killed early in season 8. And so, Henry's he sneaks in, and everybody's kind of, where did he go? Well, to make some people surprised that he actually kills Gavin in the very, very end. Morgan's basically got a spear to Gavin, about to take him out. You got Carol and Ezekiel trying to talk him out of it, of course. And while they're waiting, the spear comes right from behind Gavin, and it's Henry. I got to be honest, I've totally forgot about Henry. I mean, his character is not really that big in my mind. But I forget he even entered the place. They kind of just lost track of him, and maybe that was the point. So then it kind of surprised everybody towards the end. But either way, they did a pretty good job. The most thing that I think annoyed me towards the end of this episode was the final action scene where Carol and Morgan actually surprised the saviors inside the auditorium room where King Ezekiel usually hung out. And they start opening fire, but the problem was there was about 10 guys, I think, in this room that had all the exits, pretty much ready to go with gunfire. And they get distracted to one end, and then on the stage is where Carol and Morgan come out. And it's just the way they came out in full open view. They had barely any cover. I mean, even if this was John Wick, I think John would have had a hard time trying to take out each of these guys without at least getting nailed or whatever. And yeah, they dove a few times and got behind cover eventually, but it's like, I don't know if that actually would have worked out. I think they really need to do some work on these gun sequences and action and the choreographing. Hopefully they'll get some better choreographers in the future. But they did get King Ezekiel, and they got him out of there, so that's really cool. I think we're going to see some pretty cool action coming up here pretty soon. It looks like Negan and Simon got the care package from Maggie in Hilltop, which had their guy inside of it dead, basically saying there was like 30 or 38 more, I think, and they're willing to kill him. And Simon looks pretty pissed off and ready to kill some Hilltop people. So I'm sure Negan's going to pull rank there and tell him, no, you're going to do what I want you to do. But anyways, we'll have to see where this season's going to go. I think the Negan card, this whole character, it's starting to get played out. We need to see some change happening pretty soon, because I think the back and forth gun banter and fights, which I love gunplay. I love zombies, but it's time to start figuring out where we're taking this show. And with the Whispers just around the corner, which I hear they're very diabolical. I do not follow the comics, but I hear they're pretty crazy. I also heard that Carl played a really big part with these Whispers, and so I'm really wondering, well, who's going to take that place between Hilltop now and this new entity of people who are, like I said, pretty nasty. I think it was a poor choice, obviously, to kill off Carl. It's not that he was my favorite character. He was not, but he was starting to grow on me. I mean, and I felt he was the future of the show. The youth, our kids, they are the future. And so the fact that they would kill him off, and he's really the only young one that'd be worthy of leadership moving forward, and now he's gone. There's no bringing that back. I mean, you have Enid, and she's next to useless, pretty much. I'm sure they're going to try and build her up, but I don't think she's ever going to have a place like Carl did. I mean, he's the original character. Him and Daryl, Carol, and Rick, some of the only ones left. And now Carl's gone. So, R.I.P., Carl Grimes, I think you're a great character. I think Chandler Riggs is a good actor. I wish him the best. I don't know how much, more roles he's going to land, because I think he's been kind of typecasted a little bit from the show, but hopefully he'll be able to pull from that and continue his career. So once again, I want to thank you guys for joining in. This was a pretty heart-wrenching, tear-jerking episode. I gave it an overall 8.5, just because of the emotional value that brought. I actually felt something for this character going for once, instead of just the quick send-offs that we usually give some of the other dear to our heart Walking Dead characters. So again, thanks for joining us with the show, and I hope to give you guys a new episode when we find out what happens next week with Simon, Negan, and Hilltop. All right, thanks guys. See ya.